Okay, today's class, I'll be talking about advertising, copywriting, and testing. Like, what do we understand by um, elements of advertising copy, and then what are different types of advertisement copy, and how do you test it? Like, there are definitely, as we have discussed in the last class, there are different types of pre-testing methods. That is, before the advertisement is launched, to see the effectiveness of the advertisement, you have something like pre-testing methods. And once the advertisement is launched, how far the advertisement is making a connect with the people, or how the advertisement are having that effectiveness. That is what is the post. Like, there are different methods to test an advertisement, be it a newspaper ad, or a magazine or ad, or radio or TV ad, online ad. So there are different ways through which different ads can be tested. So why do we have to start uh, with the testing of the ad? Why is it necessary? So the reason why we test an ad, or we go about seeing the efficiency or the effectiveness of an advertisement, to see, because until unless we know until unless we know the impact of the ad that is created, we will not know whether the ad is working or not, whether in a good way or in a bad way, whatever it is. Like, if the ad is working, for example, if any ad, like you take any washing powder ads, right? The washing powder ads come up with that swipe of whiteness. So, or you put it in the surf ad, where you put with dog and with a stain, and then you put it in a tub of water with surf. You take it out, and then it comes with a dazzling whiteness. So whether this ad is making that impact, desired impact, or not, so it can be done only through measuring it. So there are different means and methods to measure an advertisement. So to start with, let's go with the measuring the advertisement copy. When you're talking about any advertisement, right? The advertisement obviously has any paper ad has a copy. There is any advertisement copy has a visual, has a slogan. These are available. But when you're talking about a paper ad, proper an advertisement as which passes through different stages. You have a thumbnail sketch, you have a rough sketch, you have a comprehensive layout, and the final layout that is there with you. This when it passes through all the stages, generally most of the elements of the advertisement copy that we are talking about, that advertisement copy has the general, like, by default, these are essential for any advertisement. So you have the headline, which may be having a subheadline. Body copy can have, generally will have some kind of a picture with text running through about 10 lines, and you have a combination. There would be a logo, there is a symbol. So you have all these things that could be part of a body copy, and then you have the slogan. So these are all there as part of the elements of the advertisement copy. So why do we have the advertisement copy? How do we go? What is the purpose? Obviously, when you're talking about the purpose, it should be able to raise interest, create that desire, cause action, create an action. Like, that's the purpose of any advertisement copy. So a combination of all these things may be based on the kind of product that we are talking about. For example, if you're talking about FMCGs, the fast moving consumer durables, then there is a particular pattern, there is a particular way to go with the advertisement copy. If it is an industrial product, that is the nature would be different. So, but overall, there is a headline, there is a subhead, there is the body copy, which is a combination of many things, a text, a visual, a picture. So, talking about the service centers, if it is a car or a bike or a mixie or a mobile, or so based on the kind of product, you wouldn't have a service center for something like a Lux or something like that. So, based on the product that you use, you have the content that is put up in the body copy, and obviously, most often there is a slogan which enables the recall. So, when you're talking about a body copy, the nature of the copy, advertisement copy, is different for different media. If you're talking about print media, so when you're talking about print media, it's mostly newspapers and magazines, or a textual form and any kind of other aspects that takes the place. But in general, when you're talking about a advertisement copy for print media, it should be framed in such a way that it should be easy to recall, it should be memorable, and it should be easy to blend with the reader, because some catchy phrases, some catchy words, zing thing, something like a zing thing is something attractive. So such kind of catchy words can attract the readers. So when you're talking about radio, right, it should be able to create a picture. That's how the advertisement copy has to be. It should be able to create a picture in the mind of the listener, right? And if it is television, right, the television copy should be, since it has all the elements, the visual elements, the audio element, the text element is there, but it is very negligible. Sometimes there is a text element at the end of the advertisement. So, but you should be able to, since everything is given, the advertisement has to be presented. There is music, there is song, there is a slogan. So all these are there. So the efficiency lies in putting across the ad in a very effective way. And when it is an outdoor medium, the advertisement copy generally comes up with a big picture with a big headline. And obviously, you have a QR code that is at the end of the hoarding, that could enable you to get connect with the ad. So the different types of copywriting techniques are there for understanding an product through different media, right? So once we have these styles of copy that is established, so a research has to be there. The reason the need is felt because what is the need for an advertising research? The need being, see, the company is investing crores of rupees in making the ad, buying the spot, placing the ad in different media. So it's not like the advertiser would just waste money bringing up an ad and then forget about it. Nothing like that. Every penny is accountable. So, to see how far the advertisement is getting connected with the audience, so there is a need for research. So they come up with several methods to ascertain the efficacy of the advertising that is being put across. Okay, so when you're talking about advertising research, what are the areas? You have different ways and means through which the research could be done. It could be based on the target audience. You reach to whether you approach the target audience and see whether the advertisement is reaching them effectively. Whether like you have methods, you have recall method, recognition method. So there are different ways, research methods are in place, which can enable the target audience to make them, to test them, to see that whether the advertising is reaching the target audience, the right target audience to start with. And then the media mix, whether, see again, when, if, for example, you have something like an iPhone, right? or a car, a BMW car, or a Hyundai car, or you name a car, right? Any car. The car ads, they are placed in magazines, they are placed in newspapers, they are placed in the radio, they are placed in television, and also in the online medium. So when you have all these ads in different kinds of media, so a lot of money is invested, whether it is a proper media mix is happening in terms of the advertisement campaign. So whether the proper media mix is enabling the advertisement to reach the target consumers or not. Even that is an area of advertising research. Okay. So how to minimize the errors, whether the advertisement should be placed in all kinds of media or should be placed in only certain media at certain point of time. So, and how much money should be allotted for the advertisement, and what kind of appeals would go in. For example, you talk about the buying motives, right? So when you have all these buying motives, so we need to see. I think Usha, you are late today to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
class.
Yes, ma'am. Actually,
Yeah.
we are discussing a little bit of our earlier class, and I did not realize.
Okay, okay,
I'm so
fine.
sorry, ma'am.
So I just started with the advertisement and the read for advertising research. So when we're looking into advertising research, we are also talking about how to test it. Why do we need to test an advertisement copy? As I have been saying repeatedly, the advertisement copy, the anything needs to be tested, right? You cannot just pump in hundreds and crores of rupees and just leave your hands like that. No, it doesn't happen that way. So when you're talking about investing money, you also would think about returns. So it is for this reason the advertisement are tested, are evaluated for their effectiveness. So the research can be done to make an effective advertisement in terms of layout, copy, and illustration. What kind of appeal should go, whether, see, some ads go with a very nice appeal, sentimental appeal, emotional appeal. So appeals can be of different types. So you can have some appeals may have anger, some appeals may have confusion, some appeals may have sympathy, some appeals may have culture. Okay, cultural bonding. Some appeals may have anxiety, scare hidden in it. Okay, so there are different kinds of appeals that can go. So what appeal would be used best according to the tastes and preferences of the people, right?
Yes,
So you cannot have like an advertisement for hospital, something like that. That appeal is more or less scary.
yes, ma'am.
You are having a pain in the chest, maybe it is a heart attack. You should go and consult a doctor. So you are having problem, a gastric problem, maybe it is a serious problem connected with the stomach or kidneys or whatever. So the appeal of, of most of the hospitals would be scary in nature. On the other hand, something like Coke, something like Cadbury's, you find that the appeal is more family oriented. Like something like, as you started, I always get back to that Bajaj ad. The appeal is family, like bonding. That appeal is, so what appeal goes and why it should be chosen again is based on the research.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so all so you make a research, look into different things, and all these things are associated with understanding and a research. Without knowing, like without, see, if someone is saying like there are many examples, for smoking, for example, or for helmet um, during driving or drunken driving, you come up with preachy words. You should wear helmet for your life, for the safety of your life. No one listens. You show people that you drive without helmet, you meet it with an accident, your head breaks like this, then at least it has some kind of an impact. So but you show the same for something like Cadbury's, the impact, it is something that could be unimaginable. So some products need a softer approach, some products need a harsher way to reach to people. So based on the kind of product that we are talking about, the appeals vary. And that is also based not just on we can always say it is commonsensical. No, it is just not commonsensical, because there is the mindset of people is so different, and you are catering to the audience at a wider range. So when you are catering to the audience at a wider range, you need to understand the psyche on the whole, and for that, a research is important. So for this reason, advertising research is done. And when we're talking about research effectiveness, right? So what are the components that are, what constitutes the effectiveness? What are the variables that should be tested? See, when you have an advertising copy, right? We call that as an advertisement. So advertisement is called as a the newspaper copy. Same way, advertisement copy. So when an advertisement is studied, when an advertisement is studied for its research, for its effectiveness, what are the things that are to be taken into cognizance? So you need to look into the message variables. Okay, you need to look into the media variables. You need to look into the scheduling variables, and you also need to look into the budgeting variables.
Budgeting.
Okay, what are the various things that you need to look into? Now, coming to the message variables. What are the message variables? So when you talk about a typical message, it could be a radio copy or a television copy or an online advertisement or a newspaper ad. Generally, though the basic premise is what we see on the paper. The first thing would always be paper. It would be put on a paper. Even for radio or even for television, you script, right? You have to come up with a dialogue, right? Like audio content and video content. You have video and then audio you have. For writing, how do you write for electronic media? So you write, first you come up with a plan, and then you put it on the paper. So even for radio, even for television, even for the newspaper, even for the online media, everything has to be put on the paper, and then it passes through all the stages that we discussed earlier. What are the various stages that we pass through? First, it is a thumbnail sketch. You remember that, Usha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then comes rough. Yes, Usha? Then comes rough. Then comes the comprehensive layout, and then the final copy. Right? You have four stages through which the drafting happens, where in consultation with the client has to be, there is always the role of the client in the process, because it is the client that is investing the money. So at different phases, all these variables are tested. So now, when we know that it is the message variable, so even in the television ad that we are talking about, right, there is a message that is being passed through. It not be just the illustration, it need not be the headline, it need not be the body text. It may be in the form of the dialogues that is happening between characters in the skit, or it could be a monologue that is being put across by a person like a celebrity. Because if you look at something like this ad, paint ad, I think it's a burger
Nerula.
ad or something like that. Amitabh Bachchan comes up and Nerulek ad. Amitabh Bachchan comes in and says like, it's a mix. You put this primer, only then the house is complete. Otherwise, you will have leakages and you will have this impressions on the wall. So it is a monologue. So whether and there is a text that he puts across. So the first thing that needs to be checked, or these are all variables. There are certain fixed things, and there are certain variables. So if the message is not appealing, you can always change this variable. right? So variable is something that can change. So when you are looking into advertising effectiveness, what are the various things that need to be looked into? Obviously, the message variable, and the message variables is a the content is obviously uh, if the content is not good, no one will watch it, no one will listen to it to start with. At least for the first time, if the advertisement is put up or if the advertisement is aired, you just look with some element of curiosity, right? So, for example, the Horlicks ad that is coming up. So the Horlicks ad says like it's a bonding between the brothers. The mother would be standing and watching, and the younger one buys a Horlicks bottle and says to the elder brother, "See, you're going to the hostel now, and there will be no mother to take care of you. So you better have this Horlicks." So what is it showing? There's an emotion element in that, and it is talking about budget. It says that like it is affordable. So and it has all the nutrients. So you have all these things that are put in across through that advertisement. And if at any point of time, if the message is not so very well put across, then the message has to be changed. You have so many cases where the advertisement was aired, where the message was presented wrongly according to certain groups, and so it was to be taken back. Do you know any advertisement where the advertisement went on air with a particular message and had to be withdrawn?
No idea, ma'am.
No idea. Fine. So there was this ad which was given by Vodafone, Vodafone, when Hutch was there. You remember that small
The
puppy
dog,
following it?
the
It
dog
says
puppy
it
follows.
follows.
Where are you? I'm
Yeah,
this
the
beautiful.
small. Yeah. So in that sorry, that's the company, right? So the
Mm.
Hutch in that Vodafone ad, they showed like a mobile will be put, and the servant maid, when cleaning the house, flicks the mobile. Okay, so the family members obviously would be looking out for that mobile, and one of the family members would call on that number, and the mobile rings from the bag of the domestic help. Okay, so what was the intent in that ad? The intent was that wherever it is, even if you hide it or you put it in very remote place, also the the connection is so strong, that you are able to, the signal is very strong, that the mobile rings and you can listen to the mobile. That was the idea. But if you look at the other angle, right? So, wherein it showed that if something is missing, by default, the blame goes on to the domestic help. If we forget something in the house, right? The first thing, something expensive, the first thing that gets into our mind, it is the psyche of the humans, because someone is vulnerable, someone is working in your home. So the first person to be accused, it could be like the person would have placed it somewhere by mistake and would have forgotten, which happens many a times. But the first person, and you trust all your family members, the first person to remember, the first person to be accused of would be domestic help. So it is sending a very wrong message to the communities, stereotypical presentation of domestic help being the thieves. So that is the message that was put. If you understand it in see that when the message, the copywriters definitely will look into many angles before finally releasing the ad into the target audience. Definitely, they do a lot of research. But what happens is when an ad like this happens, maybe the intention was not that, but definitely it can be read in this way. So there was a lot of furor. People definitely protested, and then the ad had to be taken off. But um, uh, like that was one good thing that happened, that the ad had to finally taken off and they came up with something different. So so it's a research. You see, it wasn't as though it wasn't done with research. It was done, and they felt that maybe they wanted to show that wherever the mobile is, the mobile can be reached. The signal is so strong, and you can connect it so well that it can be traced. That was the intent. So same thing happened with the doctor. Like you had a series of ads of Vodafone at that time where a doctor absent-mindedly stitches the mobile into the stomach of the patient during the operation. He picks up the phone and talks, and then mistake. This was shown in multiple platforms in various ways. In movies, they show how a doctor by mistake keeps the mobile phone in the stomach. It's a message. So that was sent, and even that was because if you in especially many people, they are afraid of going to the doctors. So a thing like this would put, maybe it would have been done by a doctor, maybe it would have been done, but you can't take the entire doctor community that they would be so careless while doing an operation. So that's how the message, right? So all types of messages, be it in terms of, uh, of text or visuals or illustrations, whatever it is. So these needs to be understood to see the effectiveness of the ad. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
now we are talking about media variables. What are media variables? Whether what type of media has to be picked, whether it has to be newspaper, whether it has to be um, uh, as we have talked about, it is a media mix that we are talking about here. Whether it has to be newspaper only or just um, magazine only, or whether it has to be radio, TV, online, films. So whether it is a combination of all these things, or whether you have to go for only one, or even if you take about even specific something like a magazine. See, if you see one thing, if you have observed, most of the house ads, right? Apartment ads like this Aparna Sarovar ad. If you have looked at this ad, right? Aparna Lifestyle Hotspot. Mostly such ads are put across in the newspapers, right? You don't find these ads in the television. You may find them in the radio. You may find them in the online medium. But if you have you seen any advertisement of Aparna Sarovar or Aparna builders in the television ads?
No.
Have you
We
seen
see
any
this
of that kind? Any?
hoardings, ma'am, not in community, like community advertisements upon
Yeah,
no.
we would have seen them as hoardings, but not as so television. There is advertisement for real estate. Like if you go to, like there is this lands, you can buy the land over here and build a house. This is exclusive community
Hmm.
advertisements for gated communities are there definitely, but the scale is definitely less. The number of ads you see is definitely less. Mostly you find them, as you rightly said, as hoardings or newspaper ads, or in the radio, or maybe in the online medium. But television is so what? So that is again, so media variables, right? What to be taken, whether to use email or whether to use Insta, or whether to use what, like what to be used, and whether to go for general magazines or whether to go for specific magazines. So again, whether to go for full length page or half length page, whether it has to be a box. Amul, most of the Amul ads, you find them in the TV also. A lot of Amul ads come. Okay, so and you find Amul ads in newspapers, Amul ads in the magazines. So you find them in the different media platforms. So like that, um, you find that uh, ads are what ads to be chosen, not sorry, what media platform should be chosen, and whether it should be done at a national level, regional level, local level, all these things. Whether it has to be a full page ad or a half page ad or a quarter ad or a corner ad where the eyeballs can fall. So what where, when to be put. So scheduling of media advertisements is also very important. The scheduling of ad, right? So when you're
Yes.
talking about scheduling of the ads, there is lot of, again, research to be done. Why time? See, what is the prime time for TV watching? Any idea? It is the, what is the prime time?
Uh, Currently, it is 8 to 10, ma'am.
Yeah, somewhere it starts somewhere around the 7.
Mm.
People are back from work, 7 o'clock or something like that, and then they put on TV and then they watch, right? 7 to 10. And now, one amazing thing about ads is like like now with the kind of software jobs that are happening, people are working night, overnight, and all that stuff. So you find that the concept of prime time is slowly shifting, because if it is a software job, right, they have a number of hours. So sometimes people come home around 2, some come at 11, some come at 1. So what they do, uh, this young generation, Gen X, that's what we call, no, Gen X. So the generation X is, for them there is nothing like time. They watch TV at irregular timings, but in spite of all these things, the still in a country like India, we still have that prime time zone, where you have from 7 to 10:30, 11.
10.
And for housewives, it would be somewhere in the afternoon, right?
Yes.
Because they have that time as their leisure time most often. So from somewhere around 2:30 till 5 in the evening. So they, it is, if you, that's how the programs are. So scheduling of ad is also very important. And again, some products, if you look at products like what should I say, like something like ACs or air coolers, or this soft drinks, aerated drinks, right? All these drinks have maximum airing, maximum visibility during the summertime. Scheduling of ad is what that we are talking about. Okay, but on the other hand, you have products like Vaseline, creams, that could be, and something like lip balms, and crackling of skin. You have Nivea and all these things. Their ads having high visibility, scheduling of ad, right, at during the winter season. Okay, something like Wix. Mostly, you don't find Wix ads now. So scheduling of ads is also done. Apart from all the things that we have talked about, apart from the message, apart from the media mix, we are, apart from the budget, we are also talking about the scheduling of the ad, right? So sometimes, like, you find uh, um, like frequency. So scheduling also in terms of frequency, right? Whether to
Yes.
have the frequency more in the morning, whether to have the frequency. So it is just, see, when you're talking about scheduling of the ad, it is just not when to put the ad, it is also how frequently to have the ad. Because if you don't put it frequently, it is out of your mind. Certain products disappeared from the market because of that. Okay,
Yes.
something. Uh, what is the most common used soap? Like, if you're talking about soap, right? What is the soap that is used most commonly?
Lux.
Lux. And what are the soaps that get into our mind when we think about soap? So
Dove,
you talk
Ayurvedic.
about Dove, Ayurvedic soaps, Synthol,
Hammam.
you have
Hammam.
Hammam, and all these soaps are there, right? Have you ever thought about Mysore sandal?
Yes, we in-house that will be particularly bought. From ages generation, there
Yeah,
is no change.
generations. It's only, yeah, correct. So only because it has been used for generations, people are, it's more because of that loyalty to the product, because my mother used, or my mother's mother used, or we have been using in the family for ages, so that's why I love the sound. But otherwise, if you ask anyone other than that component, have, that is the strong thing that is making products like Mysore Sandal or Hindu to survive,
Hmm.
right? But if it is not to be shown, people, see, when I asked you to give you a list, it did not even come across your mind, right? So let's talk about toothpaste. Something like, when you talk about toothpaste, the most oftenly seen ad, regularly seen ad is Colgate. It could be Colgate Sensitive or Colgate Clove, Neem, whatever it is. But again, the brand name is Colgate.
Colgate.
Yes, you see close up. You see close up, you see Colgate. Earlier it
Dabur.
used to be, yeah,
Baidyanath
Dabur.
Dabur.
Yeah, Baidyanath. Now, of late, Ramdev's products are also, Baba Ramdev's products are also available. But we are not talking about Vico Vajradanti because it faded from the memory. People don't even ask about Vico Vajradanti. It is, so the
That is
product,
what, no, ma'am. Like Dabur one.
no, no,
Dabur
no,
one
Dabur
is.
is different. No, Vico Vajradanti is different, no? Vico Vajradanti is different.
Oh.
Vico Vajradanti, Dabur is a company by itself. Vico is different. So Vico Vajradanti, earlier it used to be such a like Vico Turmeric, Vico Vajradanti, these are all of one category, one company. Okay, so they were there for a long time. But once you don't see that, so that's the reason why do you think advertisements, we all know that Maggie existed for a period, say 40 years or so, or not 40, maybe 25 to 30 years, definitely, yes. But why do they keep repeatedly giving you Maggie ads, or why do they keep give you repeatedly Pierce ads? Why do they give repeatedly, or you name a product, tell me a product which is not giving an advertisement? Why do you think if the product is so well connected with the people, what is the need for the advertisers to, or the companies, not the companies to come up with ads? It's only because out of sight, out of mind. So how frequently should we go about with the ads? Even if Vaseline is not used uh, um, in the summer season, you have Vaseline as something else in a different format, because you have horizontal branding that is happening. You have Vaseline coming up in a different format as well. Okay, so that's how you get connected with the brand. Once in a week, maybe it comes, or once in a day it may come, but it will be there in the airtime. Why do you think? Otherwise, it will pass the memory of the target consumers. So scheduling of the ad is a very is based on the scheduling only. It's a research again. So based on the scheduling only, you find uh, where and how. Like morning times, 6 o'clock in the morning, who will say advertisements? But there are people who, so the frequency of the ads, products that are put up at 6 o'clock in the morning are different or less. So when to have the ad, and what timings, how frequent, which season. So when you have this Raksha Bandhan, Cadbury comes up with excellent ads. You have Raksha Bandhan, you have Holi, you have any function, you have Christmas, you have, how, what is the best thing to do? Diwali time, Cadbury ads, like
Cadbury
they are
ads.
flooded in the television. And now people stopped exchanging sweets. People feel it is easier to exchange a Cadbury box than to exchange sweets. So
And
that
more it
is,
is.
yes,
And
Usha?
it is, and more it is used, means like easily available in any store.
Yeah, Yeah, it is available easily in the store, and it is less of an effort. You go buy 150, you get of various sizes packs, you buy it. So people for now, at one point of time, Meetha means Cadbury's was the way the tagline was framed.
Yes.
Slogan, that's the way it went. So it is the scheduling of the ad is what that makes the ad more effective. So you watch TV with all family members. There is a family time. So at that time you have all these kind of emotional ads, right? Then you definitely at some point there is a connect, right? That's where the scheduling plays an important role, and that's where the money to buy that airtime, that air space is the
What?
highest. Yeah. What were you saying, Usha?
It's like internet glitch, ma'am. The same thing I was telling. But how this USP of the products makes more importance? How means like the USP of making means like keeping the advertisement in the long memory. So how that will help in the advertising research?
I did not understand. Somehow your signal is bit not clear. It's not clear. I did not get what we are trying to put across.
Yes, I will type, ma'am.
Yeah. So what is it that you are trying to say? Yeah. Brand and USP play major role. Yeah, brand plays. That's what makes the brand plays a major role. But as we have said, brand Mysore Sandal is a brand. How are they different from each other? Brand and USP, how they are different to each other is what you're trying to ask.
Yes, ma'am. Means like how
How are
they
they
set up
different
their
from?
own, oh, means like a brand and a USP. How they play the major role in keeping the product for in, and we are talking about the memory, right? So how they both will play means like make people to keep like in long term memory.
USP
Like for
is
example,
various
brand
elements.
Mysore
USP
Sandal,
is
since it's in
just not audible, Usha. I am not able to even hear a single word. Just can't even. It's just not audible. Okay. Uh, Mysore Sandal is there, but I wonder how many of the Gen X know about this song, about this product. How many of them would know? See, people are now willing to experiment. You may have Mysore Sandal, but with so many new soaps at your disposal, many international brands have come into the market. So people would think, "Arey, like, let me try this one." It's not like, okay, you have the brand affiliation, you have that brand loyalty is always there. So the a brand is also a combination of various elements, and USP is one of it. What is USP? USP is the unique selling proposition. Unique selling proposition of that brand. The sandalwood smell is what makes that soap so very unique, right? The sandal smell. But if some other soap comes with more a very argumentative point, for example, Dove, it says that the pH element of the soap is less than 7. So pH element, people will wonder, what is this pH element? And why is this pH element important? So it can make people to think. So at that time, when will you go for the brand loyalty, or will you think what is this pH element? If it is good for the skin, let me go with this. So it is just not, you may come back, that's a different story. But what makes a brand survive is how you go about. Again, that's what I'm like, it is a combination, and there is no definite and clear cut rule. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So it depends. It is not fixed. Nothing is fixed. And tomorrow some other soap may come which says that Ayurvedam is good, and so use Ayurvedic soaps. So then some other loyalty may come up. So Mysore sandal is not an Ayurvedic soap. So Medimix may be an Ayurvedic soap, or um, some other neem soap may be Ayurvedic soap. So there you feel, array, these people are talking about Indian products, Indian, my, my, my loyalty to country. So what, how it works, whether it will sustain or not is a different argument by itself. But these are the things that make it work. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, uh, so a combination, that's why we are talking about all these things. So there are media variables, there are marketing mix variables, there are scheduling variables and budgeting variables. How much budget to be put for what?
Yes, ma'am.
So it is again something that needs to be understood. You cannot say should I put again. It depends on the kind of product that we are talking about. So this product needs this amount of budget for advertising to put across the different platforms. And when I'm talking about the platforms, advertisement, so we're not just talking about newspaper, radio, TV, electronic films, and online. We are also talking about the scheduling. So we are also talking about how the message has to be. So sometimes the advertising message will not have any celebrities. Sometimes it will have a very normal face and still be good. So sometimes it is the celebrity that pulls the people. So again, everything is budget oriented. So just because it is coming from a big company doesn't mean they are willing to invest so much in advertising also. Any given day, if they have to cut down on expenses, if the company has a problem, it is the advertising that gets cut first, because obviously they're spending in crores. So a lot of things get into when you're talking about understanding the effectiveness, and to look into how what message has to be sent, what media has to be taken, how much money has to be put, and what are the frequency, the scheduling, and how it affects the attitudes, how it affects the like we always talk about how the advertisement ultimately translates into action. That is what is more important. And for this reason, obviously, there is copy testing that is done. Okay, the testing has to be done. Without testing, it is definitely, but testing again involves a lot of money. It's not as though testing is done like that. Testing involves um, uh, uh, until unless if the message goes entirely wrong, then obviously you go wrong. You change the advertisement. There was this one particular advertisement of Titan. I've been repeatedly talking about Titan because, the copy testing, I'll do it in the next class. Already, I'll just end up with this Titan ad. So when you're talking about Titan ad, right? There was Triton always comes up with some kind of a very challenging and innovative and out of the box thinking ads. So there was this ad where, not this is not about Titan ad. It was some fan, uh, Orient fan ad, right? So in
Mm.
that ad, a girl from upper caste. Have you seen this ad, Usha?
Orient, no, ma'am.
Her
Usha,
name
I
ends
have seen. Usha Francis.
not Usha. No, not Usha. It is Orient fan. Okay, not Usha. It is Orient fans only. So the Orient fans came up with an ad where the girl will come to father saying that, and the father's name would be put as some Rajat Sharma or Rajiv Sharma. That is the name of the ad, the name of the father. So the girl comes and says that that she would like to marry a boy, and the boy name, the father asked the name of the boy. The boy would be from a lower caste, right? And the fan will be there, and Orient fan, the father would be arguing very vigorously, saying that no, you cannot. I'm not for this kind of a marriage where. Like inter caste marriages is something that I cannot. It's not put so clearly, but in a subtle way, he says. Then the power comes back and the fan moves, like there is a,
Cold breeze.
breeze coming about, and the father with that breeze will agree to the match. So what the company wanted to show was like with the
Any kind of disputes, they can be settled down with the breeze.
no, yeah, something like that. But actually, it is like hawa badalna, like change the air, or from
Thinking.
old conventional thinking to the new thinking is what hawa badalna is the caption, right?
Yes.
Orient fans hawa badalte hai, like something like it will change the mood, the mindset is what it wanted to show. But this was taken very seriously by communities.
Yeah.
It was taken up by communities, uh, because people felt like it is promoting something that is very like questioning the system, societal setup.
But it is also a awakening change, no, ma'am. Like they can
See,
many
you
many
it is
places they are literally killing the people
yeah,
because
honor
of
killing is happening in terms of in the name of caste, in the name of religion. That
this
is
caste
all
system,
there.
honor killing. So this
Yeah.
can be
But
eliminated. It's a kind of a positive
no,
sign.
it depends. It depends on people who are deciding. No, it was taken
Yes.
out of air. It was removed. So testing of the copy, like whether the content, technically it is a progressive ad, but for many people, they felt that this is something that is
Revolutionary.
teaching a thing that is not to be practiced. So it went to the higher levels. Many bureaucrats got involved. Many families got involved, and they protested against this ad, and they had to remove the ad. So testing of the copy, like, see, if you listen to it, if you are something that is more like you feel in this society, if so many people are educated, so many people are literate, is this the way the society should function? Many people may think, but that's not many other people also not think. So when an advertisement goes on air, and because of that, see, you many a times, because of airing a particular ad in a particular way, many products were refused to be bought by people. People refused to buy a product because it was endorsed by some person whom they feel is not appropriate in the
Idle.
society. Huh?
Who is
So
not idle, they
testing
are
of the
rejecting.
huh? Yeah, they openly say. They openly say that if someone supports a particular person, the brand endorsed by that person will not be bought. At one point of time, I think Amir Khan was the one who said, like, there were some killings that were happening. He said that I cannot live in a country like this. Then many people went about saying that the brands endorsed by Amir Khan, we are not going to buy. So it is not as simple as it affects the sales. And what does, why will any company want any connection with Amir Khan? Uh, For them, the sales are more important. For them, their longevity of their product is more important, right? So testing of the copy, whether copy testing is, that's why a big research by itself. Where these are very sensitive zones, whether to accept the product, whether the message that is being put across. So that's the reason why it is done at various levels. Before the product is, or before the advertisement is launched into the public for public consumption. So there is a lot of pre-testing done. At the beginning of the copy itself, there is pre-testing
Mm.
done. After the end of the copy, again, once the advertisement goes into the public, post testing is also done. How is the reception? Whether the product is changing the attitudes of the people, whether the product is affecting the attitudes towards buying the product. So pre-testing is a big field by itself, and post-testing is also a big field. Lot of methods are there in terms of pre-testing. So when you are doing it at before, obviously it is pre-testing. The first three, like at the creative, in the beginning, at the creative stage, at the production stage, at the layout stage, it is all pre-testing. Once it is into the market, it is post-testing. Okay, we'll talk about this in tomorrow's class. Yeah, any doubts?
Yes. No, ma'am. Thank you.
I am not sure, Usha, like it's, huh? Anything to be
No,
told?
no, ma'am. Actually, I just want to confirm, is this your number, ma'am?
Yeah,
Okay, ma'am.
that's my number.
Okay. Because today's net is not clear, very clear. So we will, it will be helpful if we discuss in our next class.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Definitely. Definitely we can do that in the next class.
And
Okay,
thank
then,
you, ma'am,
Usha.
for having, we are very happy to have you as our
Yeah,
lecturer,
yeah,
ma'am. Thank you so
definitely.
much.
Any given time. Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, Usha.